Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a fascinating topic that has intrigued scholars, theologians, and curious minds for centuries: the number 7. Have you ever noticed how often the number 7 pops up in the Bible? Is it just a coincidence, or is there something deeper going on? Let's explore together why some people believe 7 might just be God's favorite number. Now, before we jump in, a quick but important note. The Bible doesn't explicitly state, "My favorite number is 7." This is an exploration of patterns, symbolism, and theological interpretation. The goal here is to marvel at the intricate design within Scripture, not to create a new doctrine. So let's approach this with open hearts and curious minds. So where does this all begin? Right at the very start. In Genesis, we see the foundation of our entire world laid out in a 7-day framework. God creates the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and on the 7th day, he rests. Genesis 2:2-3 says, "And on the 7th day God finished his work that he had done, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work that he had done. So God blessed the 7th day and made it holy." This isn't just a random endpoint. The 7th day, the Sabbath, is set apart. It's blessed and made holy. This act establishes a pattern of completion, perfection, and divine rest that echoes throughout the entire Bible. The number 7, right from page 1, becomes synonymous with divine completion and wholeness. It represents a finished work, a perfect cycle. Think of it as God's signature of perfection on his creation. This pattern of 7 doesn't stop in Genesis. It's like a thread woven through the entire biblical narrative. Remember the story of Joshua and the city of Jericho? It's one of the most vivid examples. God gives Joshua some very specific, almost strange instructions. The Israelites were to march around the city once a day for 6 days, but on the 7th day, they were to march around the city 7 times, and then 7 priests were to blow 7 trumpets. What happens after this 7-fold sequence? The walls come tumbling down. It symbolizes that victory is complete and is achieved not by human strength but by perfect obedience to God's plan. Let's look at another one. Remember the story of Naaman in 2 Kings? He was a powerful commander, but he had leprosy. The prophet Elisha tells him to go and wash in the Jordan River 7 times. Naaman is initially offended. He expected some grand gesture, but he eventually humbles himself, obeys, and after dipping himself for the 7th time, his skin is restored, like the skin of a little child. Again, 7 represents a complete and perfect healing, a total restoration brought about by faith and obedience. The number 7 also appears in contexts of purity and atonement. In Leviticus, the process of purification often involved the number 7. For instance, blood was to be sprinkled 7 times before the Lord on the Day of Atonement to purify the Holy of Holies. This wasn't a random number. It signified a complete and total cleansing, a perfect atonement for the sins of the people. It was the number required to make things right again in God's sight. And it's not just in historical events. The wisdom literature, like the book of Proverbs, uses 7 to denote completeness. Proverbs 6 lists 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him. This isn't about the exact number, but a literary way of saying, here is a complete list of what is utterly contrary to God's nature. This pattern of 7 continues powerfully into the New Testament. When Peter asks Jesus, "Lord, how often will my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? As many as 7 times?" Peter probably thought he was being incredibly generous. But what does Jesus say? "I do not say to you 7 times, but 77 times, or in some translations, 70 times 7. Jesus takes the number of perfect completion and multiplies it, showing that God's forgiveness is boundless, superabundant, and infinitely complete. It shatters our human understanding of limits. Then, of course, we have the book of Revelation, where the number 7 is absolutely everywhere. It's almost the primary structural number of the entire book. You have the 7 churches, 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 bowls, 7 stars, 7 lampstands. The list goes on and on. Each of these sets of 7 signifies a complete and final phase of God's redemptive plan. The 7 seals unfold a complete picture of judgment and tribulation. The 7 trumpets announce a complete series of warnings. The 7 bowls pour out the fullness of God's final wrath on a rebellious world. In Revelation, 7 is the number of divine finality. It shows us that despite the chaos we see, God is in complete control, and He is bringing His perfect plan to its ultimate and final conclusion. So, when we look at all of this, from the creation week in Genesis to the final judgments in Revelation, a clear picture emerges. The number 7 in the Bible consistently symbolizes perfection, completion, wholeness, and divine rest. It's the mark of God's finished work, His perfect plan, and His ultimate authority. It's the 7 days of creation. It's the 7-fold march around Jericho. It's the 7 dips for Naaman's healing. It's the 77 times we are to forgive. It's the framework of the final book of the Bible. It's a beautiful thread of divine consistency. So, is 7 God's favorite number? Maybe favorite is too human a word. Perhaps it's better to say that God uses the number 7 as a divine signature, a symbol to teach us something profound about His nature and His plans. It's a signpost that points to His perfection, His completeness, and the beautiful, intricate order He has woven into our universe and into His Word. It reminds us that the God we serve is a God of order, not of chaos, and He will bring everything to its perfect and intended conclusion. What do you think? Are there other examples of the number 7 in the Bible that stand out to you? I'd love to read your thoughts in the comments below. Let's continue the conversation respectfully and learn from one another. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this interesting or it made you think, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content exploring the depths of the Bible. Until next time, stay curious and God bless.